Hello everyone, TMMgamer here, and today I have the pleasure of bringing you a very nice L86 gameplay on the map Fallen, playing some ground war domination. Now, I've had a lot of people request a LMG gameplay to show you how to use LMGs, because they are probably the class that requires the most changing up of playstyle apart from the shotguns. But when you're using a shotgun, it's fairly self-explanatory. You know, you want to stay in cover, stay as close to the enemy as possible, stay in buildings, so when you do meet someone, you'll meet them at close range. And the LMGs are completely opposite. No, LMGs have pretty slow ADS times. They have the worst hip fire of any of the automatic weapons. So out of like the SMGs, shotguns and assault rifles, they have the worst hip fire. So what you really want to do with an LMG is keep the enemy at arm's length. And you see, the vast majority of kills I get in this gameplay are medium to long range, and that is the real strength of the light machine gun, the support role. That guy who doesn't charge in round corners, but stays back and provides covering fire for his team. Now, when Modern Warfare 3 first got released, the LMGs were pretty pathetic, because for some reason, and I have no idea why, Infinity Ward decided to make their bullet damage follow the paths of other weapons. Now, most of the weapons in the game, and in all previous Call of Duties, have a number of bullets it takes to kill up close and a number of bullets it takes to kill at range. Now, obviously for SMGs, assault rifles, it takes a lot more bullets to kill at range than it does up close, and submachine guns have a quicker range drop-off than assault rifles. But what happened in previous games was that the LMGs wouldn't have a drop-off at all. So initially, they would have a lower base damage than an SMG or a assault rifle at close, but over long range, they would suffer no drop-off. So over the very long ranges or medium range, and that was a host migration, sorry if you're wondering what's going on there, but in the medium to long range, LMGs were king. Now, unfortunately, for some unknown reason, Infinity Ward got rid of this feature for LMGs this time around. However, they have been patched fairly recently, and what one of the main outcomes of that patch was that all of the LMGs got a slight buff over longer ranges, so they feel a lot more like traditional LMGs of the previous Call of Duties and behave a lot better over longer ranges, which is the entire point of having a light machine gun. Because before, you'd have a lot of the times you get overpowered at long range by submachine guns, and they just didn't feel like an LMG is supposed to feel, because an LMG, like I said earlier in the gameplay, is all about providing support fire. So you don't want to be charging around too many corners. You want to have your sights up as often as possible, and you want to be the guy who preferably shoots enemies before he even knows that you're there. So the whole point to an LMG is providing covering support. So if you are one of those players who perhaps has a slightly dodgy connection, or you're not looking forward to running around, you like to sit back and dictate the flow of traffic, a light machine gun is perfect for this, because, you know, it has such a huge ammo capacity that it doesn't really need sleight of hand. I mean, you see me reload once, twice in this entire gameplay. You know, it's not a lot. The only time you're going to need to reload is when you've got an absolutely huge streak. So you've got your, you know, your 9 kill streak, your 10 kill streak, your 12 kill streak, whatever. Everything's done, and then you run out of bullets, then you reload. So the LMG's entire style really fits itself to the support role, because if you do charge around and get aggressive with it, the poor hip fire, the slow ADS, they'll really begin to punish you. And then when you do run out of ammo, if you're close to the enemy, it takes a substantial time to reload without sleight of hand. So what I like to do, and this is what I normally do whenever I set up a class, I always like to complement the weapon's strengths rather than compensate for their weaknesses. And like I was saying earlier in the gameplay, LMGs are absolutely fantastic at range, so I use perks that complement that. The first perk I normally use when I'm running an LMG is Recon. Now, Recon is a great perk because the light machine gun enables you to shoot quite a long way away. And now, a lot of the time, you'll be shooting someone and you won't quite kill him. He'll run around a corner. But the great thing with Recon is, if you've shot him, he's still on the map. And that's a really useful feature you can do with light machine guns. Because you've got such a huge ammo capacity, you can pop fire at people across the map knowing that you might not even come close to killing them. But if you get one bullet on them with Recon, they are on the map for your teammates for a good 15-20 seconds. So it really does enable you to get your team's map knowledge really honed down, because you see a lot of players that you play with, they don't understand the spawns, they have no idea where the enemy are coming from. Even in a game like Domination, you know, where they have fairly set and rigid spawns based on objectives, you see people completely clueless, looking the wrong way, you know, doing all sorts of that. So the LMG is a really good weapon for pointing your team in the right direction, because Recon highlights the enemy on the map. That means your teammates, unless they are completely dense, will look in the right direction. You'll get a better cordon set up. And in a game like Domination, which is all about controlling spawns, that is a really very, very good feature. Now, if you pair Recon with Hardline, which is a combo that I've mentioned time after time after time and really is my favourite perk combination in the game, you get assists rolling through the roof. So Hardline Pro as well. Every 2 assists you get gets you 1 kill towards your point streaks. So as you can see in this gameplay, I'm running a Predator missile, attack helicopter and a Reaper. Now, when you're running an SMG or a shotgun, you don't really want to risk running those high kill streaks too often unless you're against a really bad team or you're in a full party, because it only takes one slight mistake with a submachine gun or a shotgun and you're dead and your streak's over. You know, if your aim isn't quite on, or someone surprises you when you turn a corner, you're only expecting 2 enemies and there's a 3rd enemy and he ends up killing you, you know, you don't quite have the tactical flexibility and the safety net that an LMG gives you. And that is one of the reasons why I really like to run my higher point streaks on the LMG, because you're playing a little bit more conservatively, you have a lot more time just to sit back, have a look at the spawns, have a look at where the enemy are, pick them off, and then if it is getting a bit hot and tight for you, you just come around the corner, re-heal, reload, drop back into another position where you can cover them, and you just rinse and repeat. So you die a lot less often when you're using an LMG properly, so that means you can run these higher point streaks a lot more regularly and get them more often, and that's a brilliant reason for using an LMG, because you can really go for those high kill games without too much effort and without the reliance on really bad players or a good connection. Now, to really complement the LMG's great range and its proficiency over range, I like to pair LMGs with Marksman. Now, Stalker is another very, very good perk to use with LMGs, because LMGs are very, very slow moving weapons. I think you run at about 87% sprint speed, so you're going to be falling behind the guys with SMGs and assault rifles. But like I said earlier, I always like to, you know, buff the strength of a weapon, not compensate for a weakness. LMGs are not supposed to be used for room clearance. You know, they're not supposed to be used for rushing ridiculously. You know, you can rush with an LMG using specialist, but if you're just using the assault or support, you need to complement its strengths, and Marksman does that fantastically, because you see so many times in this gameplay I get my sights up nice and early and players I don't even see are dying because I can see them through Marksman. And unfortunately Assassin Pro, the most overpowered perk in the game, does counter that. So if you're up against a team of scrubs who like to use Assassin as silenced ACR all the time, you are going to struggle with Marksman. But that's the fantastic thing with Recon. Recon is a counter to Assassin, so if they do use Assassin, which counters Marksman, you can shoot them with Recon or flash them with Recon Pro and they will still appear on the map. So that is my favourite perk combination to run with LMGs. Recon, Hardline, Marksman, great combo. So, just to quickly recap before the commentary's over, if you are looking to use an LMG, what I would try and do is try and stay away, keep the enemy at arm's length at all times, maximise your weapon strengths with Recon, Hardline and Marksman, and if things are going even better for you, get some high assault streaks on, because as you can see in this gameplay, I think the final score is 52-8. If you use the LMG on the right way in a map like Fallen, which has a lot of wide open sight lines and is probably the perfect map for the LMG, you can do very, very well indeed. So guys, thank you for watching the video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have a weapon request, by the way, for any gameplays in the future, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments and I'll quite happily give them a go. So guys, once again, thank you so much for watching and have a fantastic day.